Welcome to TableTalk Friday, your weekly dose of D&D banter between three men in a bedroom. If you like their style, come back every Friday for another upload. Now, back to the boys.
Was the DM acting like a baby, or was the DM actually, below the age of 3? Welcome to TableTalk Friday, a D&D YouTube channel and podcast. My name is Seth Reed, and today we're going to be giving Reddit advice. I go on Reddit a good bit just to see people's ideas, see what problems they might be having, and I thought it might be fun to just kind of share those tips online. So I've pulled up 3 little interesting prompts here, and I want to see how everything goes. But you can find us over on patreon.com/TableTalkFriday for all of your podcasting needs and to support the show that we've got going on, as well as this YouTube channel. Keeps it so we can continue doing it. Beyond that, thanks for listening. Thanks for coming to the channel, and let's dive right into it. How do I solve the let's just call the cops problem? Hello, everyone. This is user Professor Lamia. For the last few years, I transitioned entirely to playing online due to factors outside my control. Hey, so did we. Ever since, I've had a feeling that the games I run have shifted, both as a DM and for my players. This has resulted in a decrease in both quality and engagement from people I consider close friends and trusted players. One of the worst ways this decreased engagement has manifested is that I'm now dubbed the calling the cops problem. I've been trying to run a story where my players are supposed to be in over their heads a little, keyword is a little, but they nevertheless rise to the call to action and engage with the mystery. So far, this problem has completely destroyed one game, and 2 sessions into a new one, I can already see the pattern repeating. In both games, the characters are playing people who are either explicitly signed up as adventurers, or they are playing as people warned ahead of time that there'd be danger to solve. I see. Before I read the rest, my guess is there are powerful people around the players who know there's going to be a problem and are sending them to solve it. And the players are just reporting this to other people and getting them to go do it. Let's continue. TLDR of the problem. Calling the cops refers to my players immediately relying on a higher authority to solve the problem as they leave the situation and disengage the story. This completely invalidates the fact that they are adventurers, signed up to be adventurers, and it's causing me to bend over backwards to justify any kind of story. I would love to know how I can solve this issue and make them engage with the conflict at hand again. Okay. I don't want to go over every sentence here. Maybe I do. Just get the long version so we can give up the best advice possible. Let's see, the long version. The first game, the one that sunk, saw my players as students from different backgrounds going to a prestigious university in a medium magic setting. They are forced together by a group project, and they find themselves stumbling into a strange demon mystery that risks endangering the lives of the other students. Very cool. I like it. Very Harry Potter, Strixhaven-esque. Their first instinct was to alert the school guard. I made it clear the school did take them seriously, but because they knew so little about the situation, they didn't have time to investigate more. Opting instead to seal off the area, students of this school are not just here to sit on their ass and coast by off their status. Instead, they are expected to fight dangers and solve problems as the city lies on a rift between worlds, and this plays into why it is such a coveted academy for magicians. That's really cool. I like that idea. The school is sitting between this dangerous rift, and we all know the best learning comes from experience, and they're just kind of thrown into it. I like that. As the days went by, they stumbled into their intrigues. They actually dealt with one of the strange artifacts, and they even used it to lure a monster to impress a professor. Heck yeah. Then I made the demon threat come back, and I made it pretty clear, both mechanically and RP-wise, that it's not to be trifled with, and that rushing in blindly will get them killed. At the same time, I also raised a different intrigue. The demon could have, but did not, kill them, opting instead to possess one of their classmates, allegedly. If it was so strong, why is it playing this long game? This was the intrigue I hoped to raise. Immediately, they went into a full depression. Their characters retreated from everything, stopped engaging with the plot, and whenever there was a whiff of danger, they went and called the guards. They also yelled at me, as the DM, that I was putting them against an impossible threat. At some point, the players said they would stop going to class because anyone could be a demon. Each time, they tried to get the school to solve all their problems, and each time I felt compelled to come up with an excuse. Unfortunately, it got to the point where they see the school as distrustful and deliberately wanting to sabotage them. I tried pairing them up with a strong professor who wants to coach them, a demon hunter, even a former demon, and nothing. They were literally too scared to do anything more in character, and they were bitter at me out of character for cornering them. All right. This is a little bit of a toughie because I can kind of see both ends here. Whereas you as the DM know everything that's going on behind the scenes. You know, don't worry, you're not going to die. Like, you already know this, right? But even if you say it point blank to them, the players don't know that the threat won't just immediately decimate them. And D&D comes with risk, like the risk of character death, that comes along with it. And thus, you can't completely eliminate that risk and be like, well, don't worry, you're not going to die. Because realistically, if you roll bad enough, you can die. And if I was a player here, I would think like, okay, they are putting us against impossible odds. You didn't say how many sessions you ran, I don't think. You said it was just the previous game. So it could have only been like 3 or 4 sessions. But I think this really involves a good sitting down and talking to your players about expectations, right? Hey, I think that I may have given the wrong impression. I was trying to lay the foundation for something more here. Like, hey, the demon is after something that's not your lives. It blatantly didn't kill you. There's something else beyond the school going on here, which also, they might point out that that's what seeded their distrust in the school. Like, this demon is coming through here and not killing anybody and also not getting captured. What's up with that? I'm not trustful of these professors. So, you as the DM, I think, should capitalize on the fact that they are distrustful and be like, all right, well, what would you like to investigate? You're not going to class. What are you doing? Because the game is about having fun. You may have a story you want to tell, but the players are not always going to go down the path that you want. It's very frequent that they will throw you off and give you a new story thread to come up with. And that's okay. It's all part of the role-playing game, the TTRPG. So I think you have a great idea. I think the idea is really cool, but you can't let those ideas set you in stone because the players do have agency here. You're not the only one telling the story. The players are also all telling the story. It's a group effort. So you had something really cool written up here. Let your players use that curiosity to do something. They showed up to play, right? They showed up to play D&D. They had to have had something in mind that they wanted to do. But it seems like they didn't go down the route that you wanted them to, so you gave up and did something else, didn't finish it. So, yeah. I'm not trying to get on you too much about this, because it does seem like you're in a bit of a pickle. Like you were excited about telling this specific story with a lot of lore, and your players didn't do what you expected. Or they could have just been jerks. Maybe they didn't like how you were DMing and they're just jerks. I don't know. I wasn't there. But that's the best I can give you, is play into what your players want. Don't stick too much with your idea of the story, as well as have a long conversation about expectations with your players. That's going to go really far. Let's go on to the rest of the post. In this new game, they are playing as Pokemon trainers in a fantasy setting. The entire conceit of Pokemon and the monster taming genre as a whole is that one's bonds and resolve are strengthened by battle. Okay. I also think it's like power of friendship, and it's really fun to catch a Pokemon and see it shoot flamethrowers. So far, 2 sessions in, they have run away from every trainer battle. Okay, that's bad. When presented with a wild Pokemon, even before they knew the situation was dangerous, they went and called for the guards to deal with the problem. When presented with a standoffish rival like Blue, they just leave. When presented with a menacing rival like Silver, they just run. Unless I make these guys straight up villains and stack attack them on the street, I'm not sure what else I can do. This is causing me to fear creating NPCs because I feel like they won't interact with them. I don't know what to do anymore. The worst part, these guys are really good role players. However, they've become so risk averse. I feel like I have to bend over backwards to try and get the story moving. What can I do to solve the calling the cops problem and convince these people to take risks again? Oh, that's awful. That's so much worse. Oh my god. Imagine I throw a single goblin like the party of 4, and like they come across a goblin and he's like, I got you, and he pulls back his bow, he fires one arrow, and everyone's like, oh my god, and they just turn around and run off, no risk at all. Like they were obviously going to beat the one goblin, and they turn around, turn tail, run back, and they go, guards, you gotta solve this problem for us. So one thing I will say here is, if someone calls a guard to like solve a problem like this, like in the Pokemon world, you can have them be like, dudes, it's not that serious. That it's just a Pokemon. It's just a trainer battle. What of it? Like, we have bigger fish to fry. There's actual criminals, there's Pokemon smuggling going on in the underworld. Team Rocket showed up and blasted off again. I'm not dealing with you. So something like that, menacing rival like Silver, they just run. Like, this is definitely an intervention time. Like, hey guys, I've noticed this issue. I've noticed that we've had a certain pattern going on, the call the cops problem. Every time I put a challenge up against you guys immediately run away or immediately call guards. Why do you do that? And they're going to say something in response. Maybe they're like, well, we just want to make sure that we're safe. We want to make sure this. Okay, well, that's not exactly the point of the game. Do you run away at every boss battle in a video game? Well, no, because we know we're not going to die and we get to try again. Okay, well, you're in the Pokemon world. How many times has Pikachu electrocuted Ash and he lives? Every time. So, yeah, I think that you just need to sit down and talk to him, man. Intervention time. You can buy some pizza before the next session. Hey, before we get started, I just want to talk to you guys real quickly here and see what's up. Like, why are you guys running away from everything? Why are you so risk averse? This is awful. This is a bad problem. I've never heard of anything like this. Does he respond at all down below? I want to see if he says anything else. All these people obviously have their own advice to give, but yeah, whatever. All right, cool. Let's go on to the next one. Am I a bad person for quitting a group with a baby DM? Was the DM acting like a baby, or was the DM actually like below the age of 3? I really tried. I wanted to support them as they worked on their DMing, but this last session made me realize I needed to step away. We are all friends and have been playing D&D intermittently for the last 10-ish years. I can handle new DMs asking questions, reading from the module, and keeping things simple. What I couldn't handle was them not reading/preparing for the module in advance and pausing for 1 to 2 minutes to read every time a question was asked so they can find an answer in the book. And if that answer isn't there, it's ignored. I see NPC sitting on a chair, mushrooms, druid asks for one to keep, DM reads for a minute, shrugs and moves on. Roleplay, scene setting, and storytelling don't exist in these games. NPCs don't have names and referred to as their race. No freaking way. He refers to them as their race? I hate that. I hate that so much. Their only purpose is a means to an end. Elfman, guarding a cave, says he's been forced to kill anyone who comes near. Player character. I want to see if we can get by without a fight. DM, okay, everyone roll persuasion. 1 of 4 of us rolls above a 14. Okay, so you avoid this fight. We get the golden level up. Is there like there's no actual role play. It's just you're playing like Baldur's Gate, but without the dialogue. You're just walking up to guys and rolling the die. It's like, oh, I passed. He steps aside. Basically, every game is a skeleton of a D&D game with no collaborative storytelling and only goal being to get the treasure with some dice rolls in between. The DM even allows one player break the rules every single session. Some examples. We all use point buy while he was rolled stats 10, 14, 15, 16, 16, and 18 at level 2. When I questioned this, he got flustered and said he doesn't know how that happened, then pulled up another character with slightly lower rolled stats and hope nobody noticed. I did. He also pre-rolls his dice, and in a game with maybe 10, 20 rolls, he managed 4 nat 20s and no rolls below a 10. Okay, so this player is friends with the DM, or the DM just isn't experienced enough to like solve this problem, and he's just rolling his dice constantly, is what I'm guessing, and then being like, "Oh, yes, I rolled a 20. Cool. I just rolled it. It's a 20. It's a 20." Okay, this isn't fun when he crit. That these crits one-hit kill most of the small monsters we fight before the rest of us have a turn in battle because his initiative rolls were always the highest. See, I have this habit where my initiative roll is always the lowest. I get like 9, and everybody else is like 12, 15, 17, 21. The DM takes it at his word and doesn't scale the monsters in response, just laughs and says, "Wow, this character is really taking care of everything." And I'm having so much fun watching it. This isn't the DM's first or second game. They have DM'd 5+ times, and it goes exactly the same every time. Do you mean like sessions, 5+ sessions, or 5+ campaigns? I've DM'd 3 campaigns, but I've done like many one-offs and over 200 sessions. We, including our old DM, offer feedback after sessions, the biggest one being to read and prepare better for the module so things go smoother. In prep for this last session, the DM told us they will see how things go short notice. We had planned this session 3 weeks ago. They say they skimmed the module for the first time last night before bed. Okay, I'm not going to fault them too much for this. I mean, obviously they're not a great DM, right? We've gotten that from the story so far. I always prepare day of, because I don't want to think too hard or stress myself out or like get so in the weeds about something that I don't want to do it by the time the day comes. So I very frequently will just get everything ready the day of. So not too bad. Even if it's like only an hour of prep, I think that's enough to get a session ready. Afterward, I sent a message to each person privately, kindly saying, "Thanks, but I'm out. The cheating player removed himself from every group chat he and I were in together, and the DM is clearly hurt. I just don't have the time for things that don't fulfill me anymore." Absolutely. I know the kindest thing to do would be to keep playing so that DM can get more and more practice, but at that point, would you cut your losses? Absolutely. I get to play D&D once a week, most times, and it's 3 to 4 hours of my time, and if I'm using, I'm an adult, all right? I have to do stuff. I've got so much stuff to do. And if I just want to play, if I get to play D&D once a week and it's going like this, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm cutting my losses. I'm getting out of there. If you're happier finding yourself in a new group, go find yourself in that new group, because D&D is fun. I've been with the same group for like 8 years, and it is the best time every single week. You're doing the best thing for you, and that's all that matters. I don't think I have to say much more on that. That's a crazy, crazy DM experience. Like, imagine, I bet this person, got excited about D&D, or like has watched a couple of live plays or heard some podcasts and was like, okay, well, I can DM. But they're probably shy or embarrassed, right? That's the only thing I can imagine is like being really, like, if the DM got hurt here at the end, not doing voices or building characters, that's really tough. Like, yeah, the elf man guarding the cave, you pass and move to the side, but you didn't say anything. Like, there needs to be an interaction there. There needs to be something going on, some kind of storytelling, some reason for me and the character to care what's happening. D&D isn't fully a storytelling mechanism, right? That's how it's been in the recent decade. But before, it was a lot of like, go do the mission, gameplay. If that's not your kind of game, man, get out of there. Don't worry about it. It's not my kind of game. I like a epic, a story. All right, help, please. I mean, I like that title. I'm running an online campaign, and one of our 4 group members' computers is having problems, and we won't be able to fix it for a while. I didn't want them to miss out since they have already been reliable and a good fit for our party. I was thinking of a temporary workaround. Firstly, we'll use Discord for voice chat, Roll20 for the battle map, and moving tokens, and D&D Beyond for character sheets. The plan now is to have him use his tablet for Discord, having one person in the party stream their screen to them so that they can see the battle map, and use the phone for D&D Beyond character sheet. Does anyone have experience with this kind of thing? Will this work? Or is there something I am missing here? Has anyone got a better solution to this problem? The reason I liked this one, the reason I picked it out, is because I've dealt with this exactly. And there have been multiple of us who fully had to use our phones for entire sessions. Like, we usually play on Discord, and I've used my phone to play entire sessions of D&D before. And I'm talking Roll20, talking Discord, keeping track of my character sheet. There's 5th edition character creator, which is like my favorite app I use. It just kind of like changes the wording on abilities and stuff, and it's like $4 and it's got all of the content you need for D&D. I'll use that. I'll tab out and I'll like minimize Discord up in the top, like with the little square. And for Roll20, either someone can stream their screen and I'll look at it, or you can go on to Roll20 on your phone and you can quickly scroll through and be like, hey, can someone move me here? Like, it's very doable. And also, theater of the mind exists. Like, if it's not working, if you really want your player to be able to be there, then you could also just be like, hey, guys, we're not going to use Roll20 this week. We are just going to theater of the mind and explain where everything's at. Not everyone's jams, not everyone's jive, but it can work. And whenever we all had to go long distance for the first time, most of us still lived around the same area. So we would all get together in person. And my buddy Sean, he was living states away. And so we actually had a top-down camera that we pointed towards a dry erase battle map. And he could see everything still and then just tell us where he wants his piece and someone would move it. And we did that for 2.5 years. So there are many ways to make this work, and there's probably even like certain apps and stuff you can use that will make all this a lot more seamless that I'm not even familiar with. But yeah, it's totally worth it. Keep this player in. If they work with your group and you're having a lot of fun with them, make it work for them. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're going to stop for today. Thank you so much for joining me on Table Talk Friday, a D&D podcast. For more content like this, you can go over to patreon.com/tabletalkfriday and check out all of our podcast feeds, post shows, etc., as well as check out the podcast on all of your podcast feeds. Spotify, Apple Music, here on YouTube Music, you can even get it. Just look it up. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for listening to Table Talk Friday, a D&D podcast. For more fun conversations like this, follow the boys on whatever podcast service you prefer, and come back every Friday for another upload. And if you have your own inquiries, you can find them at tabletalkfriday@gmail.com. Thank you.